welcome back to the fourth segment of the Harry Thomas Show Week in Review. Today is January 19th, 2008. The website is harrythomas.info. I'm your host, Harry Thomas. It's very hard to cover all this news in these short little segments. I mean, it really is. And I've got this stuff coming out. There's piles and piles of this stuff, this push for world government, and it's just incredible. The History Channel is going to air an elite's wet dream called Life After People. Now, it certainly seems reasonable to think that with the staggering amount of evidence proving that the world's elite's heartfelt plan is to rid the planet of 80% of its inhabitants, that the History Channel is either a sick joke or their version of a fair warning for what the elite have planned. I wonder if Dr. Plianka and his students will be throwing a party for the event. I mean, there's more propaganda coming out by the Hearst-owned History Channel. Hearst owns Popular Mechanics, and they also own History Channel. Yellow journalism was coined because of Hearst reporting. Mainstream media is now acknowledging the National ID card. They are now pushing the Real ID Act because of the falling dollar. All of your information is going to be on the card, even your money. Listen to this.
And Pete, speaking of states, I understand there are still quite a few who are resisting this notion of a secure or a real ID. What then happens to those residents of those states that are still resisting?
Some states have actually even passed laws saying, no, we're not going to take part. And I think Homeland hopes that the states that have rejected real ID as either too expensive or not worth the trouble will now reconsider. These states have until May to say whether they will join the program. But if they still say no, then their residents, as of this May, will no longer be able to use a driver's license to board an airplane and will need some other form of accepted federal ID. And for most people, that'll mean a passport.
Military-industrial complex biometric surveillance control grid is revealing itself. The server in the sky global biometric database commonly announced. The vast intelligence program to establish a global biometric database is known as Server in the Sky will collaborate and provide an international information consortium with access to biometric measurements and personal information of citizens in the U.S., UK, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand in the name of fighting the war on terror. Now, biometric measurements, irises, palm prints, as well as fingerprints and other personal information are likely to be exchanged across the network. Server in the Sky is the FBI initiative designed to foster the advanced search and exchange of biometric information on a global scale. See, this is how they're putting it in global government. It used to be you'd had to commit a crime before your fingerprints were taken. And I was just doing a special report, and you can check it out on YouTube. They're taking fingerprints at traffic stops. And that was up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I mean, they've been drawing blood from suspects at traffic stops in Utah. This is just incredible. Woodrow Wilson, International Center for Scholars, is expanding NAFTA. And this is how they do it. They get these free trade, so-called free trade agreements like NAFTA, CAFTA, and all these other ones. And then they put in, like, the EU. And that's how the EU was started, with trade agreements. Now, this NAFTA is expanding. Old Thinker News, we reported in August of 2007, and I talked about this on the show. They did a conference that was dedicated to the North American consciousness. Remember, I was talking about that on the show in August. Another document's been found, again from this website, and discusses the creation of a continental homeland security, a North American parliament, and a continental democracy between U.S., Mexico, and Canada. The information covered in the documents will be very familiar to those who have been following the North American Union developments. And if you haven't been, you can get the book that Jerome Corsi has out called The Late Great USA, documenting the whole course of it. And that's available at the website because I believe in free information. I mean, only an informed public is going to be able to stop these evil global minions. It says, many of the panelists argue that deeper integration must take place, while some cite the need for global governments to effectively manage worldwide economic integration. Worldwide economic integration. You want to talk about the dying dollar? They're killing it on purpose. And they're going to put in this currency called the Amero. And I've got that well documented over on the website under the New World Order section. And this is all documented by Jerome Corsi. I mean, needs to be stopped. This is the core of evil. This is the core of world dominance, core of world government. This is the bankers taking their shot of their eugenics. And you need to listen to the segment I did on eugenics and stuff to understand what I'm saying. This is really bad stuff. Emergency jury duty leaves people stunned, calling their bosses. Weld County, they just went out and subpoenaed 50 people on the street, telling them that they have to go show up for jury duty. Listen to this.
More than 50 people in downtown Greeley were going about their daily routine this morning when they were handed a piece of paper and told they had to show up for jury duty right now. And it wasn't a joke. It was an emergency summons.
And that's just incredible. I mean, you're walking down the street and you have to do jury duty. It's incredible. I've never heard of nothing like it. A Minnesota man was tasered to death for noncompliance. 29-year-old guy, he was shot by a taser by state troopers because he'd become uncooperative after a rush hour crash. And they shot him because he became uncooperative at a crash site. He was breathing but unconscious when paramedics arrived. His father was told that his son's heart stopped. It's been documented time and time again in these deaths that the taser affects the heart. The police have praised the taser, which sends an electric current, 50,000 volts, for its ability to bring quick end to standoffs with violent suspects. But related fatalities after their use have made it controversial. And it says here that the state patrol would not describe what constituted uncooperative behavior. And that is simply an outrage. Canada now puts the U.S. and Israel on a torture watch list. Says an official Canadian government document has put both the United States and Israel on a watch list of countries where prisoners run the risk of being tortured. And that's true. That's all this administration and these New World Order minions have been about, is torture, torture, torture. Remember, it was bad when Saddam Hussein did it. But it's good when we do it because we are the good guy. We're the superhero. It's okay if we can beat a confession out of someone. It's all over the television now. And it goes against our Constitution. It goes against our constitutional republic, which we don't have anymore. This is an oligarchy run by madmen who control the banking systems. That's what's happening. And until people can wake up to that, we are going to be enslaved forever. Coming soon, an X-ray vision gun. The superhero power to see through walls will soon be within the grasp of ordinary mortals, thanks to a new handheld X-ray scanner. And it says here that the America's Department of Homeland Security is already understood to be interested in the device for its use on the war on terror, which has become a war on its own citizens. And we need to stop this madness. Get yourself informed. Get others informed. Take advantage of the information I have at harrythomas.info. And let's fight to get our country back and to become a beacon of hope and freedom for the rest of the world once again. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week.